Okay, so
Phil, tell me about that Kesha song. What's going on?
Well,
Can you? Yeah, it's out.
yes, there's a song on the Angry Birds 2 soundtrack, and the song is called Best Day. Pretty sure it's called Best Day.
How's it go?
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah, we could even like splice in part of it or something.
Ooh.
You know?
Spicy?
Like right now.
Yeah.
But there
Okay.
could be the splice of.
So we're gonna play a clip of
taste of the song.
what's it called?
Best Day.
Best
Kesha.
Day by Kesha. Wow, that was catchy.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Who did you work on that with?
Ryan Lewis brought me in on that, and that was pretty fun to work on.
Ryan
And it
Lewis.
was very fun.
Nice.
Yes, with my other friend Elon, and then Saba and Ralsei also worked on that.
Joshua.
Yep, who
Nice.
you know, and it was really fun. And we got together and we all like kind of collectively came up with the kind of the thing that helped to push the song into being completed, because the idea was pretty intact already of like that hook and like how the verses were written and stuff. So and we were able to really just shove it down the path of being completed and feeling good and like tweaking chords, because it felt a little overly repetitive in certain spots, and so we were like trying to nudge it without being forced. It's kind of actually an interesting challenge to do that. When something's really poppy, you want to keep it accessible and poppy, but if it gets too repetitive, then you want it to keep kind of propelling you and moving forward. So
Like a bird's wings.
yes,
So it was perfect for the movie.
mm-hmm.
Speaking of Rawls, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, let's get him in.
We got to get Rawls.
We have a lot of people. So
Rawls, we're calling you out right
this
there.
is part of our episode today, is that we're going to talk about how we have a bunch of guests now lined up
Yay.
to come in and help us.
We're cool
And,
now.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah,
Thank
I
you.
know.
No, yes.
I'm like really
no
excited.
pictures, please.
Yes.
No picture. Oh,
Papa,
listen.
paparazzi.
Can you hear it? Listen to the fans.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
What
thank
is
you.
that?
Oh, thank you.
Is that Tory's story? Oh, no.
It's funny how now that we're so famous, we
Right.
have British accents. That's what fame brings you, you know.
Why,
Philip? The more famous that you are, the more regal you
Proper.
feel and proper you have to
Well,
be everywhere.
Why, whatever do you mean? Accent.
What accent?
What is this?
You know, whenever I go to Hollywood, I just sound like I live in Hollywood.
Simply refer to episode 1. We sound identical. No, we sound identical.
You know, fame hasn't changed us at all.
Oh, not one,
Not one
bit. Oh, hand me that $100 bill, please. I need to wipe my nose. No, seriously,
Yeah.
give me that 100.
No,
I need that 100.
No,
you
actually,
know.
you owe me money. No, just kidding.
No,
actually, I
yes,
do owe
no.
you for. Actually, we're gonna finish a mix today.
That's
and then I'm
right.
gonna pay
yes.
you.
Oh,
So,
that
yeah.
sounds great. Yes. Let's bring it in.
There we go. So these
So
are
monetizing,
things.
you mean monetize? on your art? Wait,
Monetizing
what?
is really cool, and like, it's a really fun way to sustain yourself as an artist. I love it.
That's our theme. That's our theme. This is gonna be the money day of your life.
Yeah, right. Now that's stuck in my head. So
Oh, it's an earworm.
yeah, and other things just came out too this last week, including the new Lana Del Rey that I played on 3 songs.
Tell the people
And
about it.
that's pretty beautiful.
Which
and
songs?
that is the title track, which is called Norman Bleeping Rockwell. And then there's a track called Love Song. And then there's another track, and I forget what it is because we always use working titles with that camp of artists and producers. So
Now wait, was this one where you
to
didn't
look up.
hear the songs?
some of that material, I didn't even really hear a lot of the song.
What did you play to? They
I
just gave
played
you like
2 examples of what they wanted. Yeah. It was pretty cool. And it's
so you
that's
played
actually a good
against
way-
reference tracks.
Yeah, right. Right.
So
but
other
not
people's
of-
songs?
No.
No.
No, demos of what they wanted me to like ideas.
Oh, so
And
you
then
heard
I would
strings.
just like recreate these ideas
You heard
in like
strings,
a
that's
polished
it.
way, like fake string
Right.
ideas, like really
But
rough,
no song.
really rough. Correct.
That's so cool.
And then I just like find the BPM and like recreate these things. But I don't do that for everybody. It's just this one.
If I were Lana Del Rey's producer, I
Yeah,
might do the
well,
same thing. I
yeah.
don't know.
There's a lot of mystery and intrigue from that camp, and I have grown to appreciate it. It's fun. It's kind of like being a secret agent or something, you know.
Yes.
And then it's kind of funny because you have to like figure out what songs you're on afterwards because they use working
Oh, you didn't
titles
even
that are
know.
like
Oh, right.
QP. And you're like, oh, did I get paid for QP yet, or was that TN? Like, I don't know. Which one was which? Which artist was it? Pink?
It's so
You know,
good.
so it's like it's really funny because sometimes I won't even know which artist it's for, but that's pretty rare. That's mostly just that one.
Well, who was the producer on that?
the
who hit you
producer
up?
on that is Jack Antonoff.
Okay.
So, you know, from Fun,
Oh, geez. Okay.
yeah, and
Yeah, I've heard-
Bleachers. He has that project
wow.
Bleachers that had a couple big singles and stuff too. So, yeah, pretty cool. And I think he was. I don't think he is anymore, but I think he was going out with Lena Dunham. I think they were dating for a while.
Who's that?
From Girls, the HBO show. Oh,
I don't
anyway,
know.
side note. And then there's other big things happening still.
Other big things. What do we
because
got?
Hobo Johnson just came out with
That's
his new
right.
single, Subaru Crosstrek.
Hashtag Hobo Johnson.
Hobo Johnson, and he's awesome, and I'm on it, and I'm playing cello and bass, and I have a little co-writing on it, and
That's
pretty
crazy.
sweet. Thank you. It's happening. Yes.
I just bought a Subaru Crosstrek. I just bought a Subaru.
Hi, Phil.
Well, and yeah, so that's
Good
kind of like
heavens,
some
where
of
did your
the
accent
updating
go?
things. Oh, I know. I keep slipping in and out. I keep
Hair
slipping in and out.
Bear Johnson. Yes.
So we also have some other good news for this podcast, and that's that we have some sponsors.
Sponsors.
We got some sponsors. Couple,
Woo,
2,
woo.
3
What
sponsors.
do you say? What do you say? Is it woot woot? What do you say?
Woot woot? I think it's woot woot.
Woot woot.
Yes.
What's the correct spelling on that? Is it
WHOOT.
Hoot hoot? How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie? 1, 2, 3. 3 licks. Yes. I don't know if we can put that in.
He can't make it. He can't make it
It
through
takes
the legs.
3.
He has to bite it.
What was it? Hoot hoot hoot. Heat.
So yeah, we have a couple sponsors, 2, 3 different probably 2 on this episode, and we have another one coming and more on the way, which is really cool because
Yay.
we are artists for profit and we're trying to monetize, and we want to be able to afford to make the content in order
Yes.
to continue going forward.
You mean it's not just free? No one just makes this happen?
No, and in fact,
But it's our passion. Why isn't it free?
That's a great question. Why isn't it free?
Comments.
It's also leave comments.
Why isn't it free? That's the question one of the day.
Also, why isn't music just free? It's just a vapor in the air. It's just sound waves in the air. It should just be free for everyone.
Like water and medical.
But is water?
Okay, this is getting
free?
political
And
really fast.
medical free? I guess nothing is free.
Nothing is free.
Now. Nothing is free. Yeah, nothing is free. Not even music. But in fact, it's actually kind of cool because streaming.
Music is so expensive to produce,
Yeah, it is. Actually.
even on the cheap.
Yeah. But streaming, it kind of is close to free considering how much you could actually stream. If you streamed all day and all night and then put that against whatever you pay monthly for Spotify or Apple Music or
You mean
Google
to
Play,
consume it? It's relatively cheap.
consume it,
Oh
it's
yeah,
very
it's like
cheap.
pennies.
Yeah.
There's no
So
way.
You're barely paying for music as a consumer of streaming media,
Yeah,
which is fine. But
it's
that's
kind of a
part the-
no-brainer.
but that's also part of the reason
Hashtag Bieber.
why we need sponsors, because you
Yeah.
know we're not going to get the clicks aren't going to necessarily pay for the studio time.
So who
for
do
us
we
to
need?
do this?
We need you,
Hey,
and
we
you,
do.
and you.
Yep. We need the people.
We need you.
Yep.
We need your help, your support.
Yep. And one way that you can do that is by sponsoring us.
Off camera.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
One way that can be done is by sponsoring us, and there are different ways to sponsor us. One way is financially, and a couple of our sponsors from this time have given us a certain dollar amount to be in a certain amount of episodes to have their logo, and that's really awesome. So if you want to have your business or your logo in our episodes, then DM us, hit us up. You can go to the Artists for Profit Facebook page. It's a Facebook group,
Yep.
Artists for Profit. We'll put a link in the description here. And you can also direct message or comment on YouTube. We're pretty easy to find. You can comment to us.
Comment
You
on the
can
video, message us.
Absolutely. You can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. We have a bunch of links in our descriptions on these
It's all
videos.
there.
Yeah. So it's all available for you. So you can hit us up if you want to feature your company's logo in our episodes. But
yes,
there are also other ways to contribute, i.e., I had a friend of mine say, "Oh, I have the perfect theme song for you guys." I'm like,
that's so cool. Who was that?
I think it'd be really fun. My buddy Ben.
Oh man,
I think it'd be pretty fun to maybe it's a competition to see who can make us the best theme song.
Theme song submission?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could
No.
be cool. Leave a
Comment
comment
below.
See what you
It
think.
rhymes.
And then
And maybe you'll be on the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or another way you could do it is if you think, hey, you guys could have a way better title card or graphics or whatever that is. Hey, make us something. This is what people do all the time with these kinds of things, is that people contribute with whatever they can,
Another thing too, remember, we want to know, today's more of an informative session, talking about a lot of upcoming things on the docket, some guests that are going to be on, sponsorships, how you can sponsor.
So there's a couple different things we do want to know. So one thing is that we've had a couple people tell us oh, you guys should do Patreon. And for me, I kind of just view it, or from what tiny molecule I know of Patreon, I'm like, oh, isn't that just asking for money? But actually, it's not, doesn't have to be a chair. It does. So this is what I want to know from people. Is Patreon a charity thing where we're asking for money? Or is it something that people pay for because they want to continue receiving the product that someone is making?
Like public programming,
right,
like Channel 9 or something.
Is it is it public funding, or is there a stigma about it being this handout? Because for me, the starving artist thing or whatever, it's I don't want to be a starving artist, and so I feel weird. Maybe it's just a pride thing or something, but I feel weird being oh, please give me money. That's weird to me, because I don't usually have to do that, because I usually provide a service or do something that earns money, and that's what I like.
Well, we are providing a service.
Right.
This is the product that we're creating.
Cool. Yeah.
And
so I'm down with trying it, as far as, but I would
we're
love
not
to
charging anyone to consume the content.
No.
But that's why we're reaching out to get financial support so we can keep making these.
Yeah.
Because we all have families and have to do our thing. This is our job.
This is our job. And if we aren't doing this today, we're booking other people to work with us and that kind of thing, which is also great too. So that's something we'd love comments about.
Yes.
Do Patreon. Patreon's awesome, or don't, or here's why not to.
Well, and one thing I want to know is all y'all's experience with it. If you've used it, or people who have or do, what's your experience with it? Is it good, bad, pros and cons? How have you had luck with it, if you have, and all that kind of stuff.
Or even if you've seen our episodes and you kind of know what we're about, like, do you think that's a good fit for us? Should we do it? I don't know.
Right. Is it
I'm
even a good
thinking
idea?
of it.
Are there other services? I have heard that there are other
There are.
things
There's another
like
one
it.
I'm looking into that's on our Podbean account, where
Okay.
it's like a Patreon thing, but it's through Podbean, which we're already on.
Oh,
So
okay.
that might be something to do too, but we could probably do both. I don't know. We're just we'll see. This is kind of fun.
Comments
because we're
below.
growing. Yeah. We're growing.
We're
Okay,
learning
so
and sharing and
can
growing.
we shift to a different thing what we want to hear comments about? And that is we need a one way you can sponsor us or contribute or help us is if you comment and leave messages about what you'd like to see us cover. So what
Yes.
topics should we do? What should we talk about? What do you want to learn from us? Because like we
But
have a
don't we
lot of
know
stuff.
everything, Philip?
Well, we don't know everything, but
We're
we know
on
a
the
lot of things.
screen.
But I don't necessarily always know what's going to be valuable from my knowledge base. To
Completely joking.
you know,
I'm completely joking
no,
right now.
I don't have a sense of humor,
Now-
so I don't understand where I come from.
A sense
we
of
don't
humor.
joke.
No, right.
No, we don't. We
No.
don't do it.
Philip, you're a great, great man,
We
okay?
just never joke.
Okay. He's
Can
got
you just
billions
never-
and billions of jokes.
Can
alright.
can you just never joke around me, please, ever again?
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
so
Philip. Behave.
it's more to be pitied than
You
scorned.
told me to have. So now hurry up
You are
and become
not
have.
even being you're not even being a little bit
You know what I just thought about? Now, you could say this was a tangent. Probably. But you know what I just thought about? The pizza's probably here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. It's gonna be great.
Insert pizza image here with Steam.
Yes. Insert pizza not
Emoji.
image into mouth.
Oh, yes. That would be like, you know, something I've been
Yeah.
saying lately is VR.
Mm,
Drop the V and go outside.
yeah. Just reality. Yeah. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So
You see what I'm...
can I get back to the okay? So
Oh,
so you guys,
All right, pull it in.
if you want us to talk about a certain subject or you want to learn about a certain
Tell the
subject,
lovely people out there.
please comment on the comments. And also another way you can help us is you can share the YouTubes or the Facebooks, or you can
Yes.
go join the Artists for Profit group on Facebook.
Facebook group, yes.
Yep. And share it and help us get out there because
Yeah,
that's
and
going to
maybe-
help everybody.
Do you know about this? Getting like on playlists and stuff? Are there podcast playlists?
Are
Or
there
just
podcast
songs?
things like that?
I mean, I know that is our podcast on Spotify?
It's
know?
not on Spotify because Spotify doesn't handle video for some reason. But what's
They
weird?
won't just strip the audio, but iHeartRadio
well, the
does.
iHeart does, right? They just strip the
Why don't
video.
they strip
and then it's
iHeart's
just-
radio audio and
Well, we could like separately do it, but
just
I
upload a separate
But
one?
I kind of feel like Spotify can catch up to us. Sorry, but their technology can't handle what we have to do. They can.
Yeah, I mean, if our
They can-
8K is too good for their
Yeah.
4K, then
Sorry,
maybe
you don't handle video yet. Okay, we'll just wait for you to handle.
we could just be
video.
like Apple and like
or like iHeartRadio, which is like we are on,
There you
and they
go.
just don't do the video. They still support our thing. They just have the audio, and that's great. That's like adaptive and evolutionary. So I'm sorry, Spotify, but you can catch up. You can catch up. Sorry.
no, we love you.
I know.
Um,
I like Spotify
Spotify's
too, but
insane. Are you kidding me?
it's awesome.
I-
But
You know how many years I went without buying the service? As soon as I did, I was like, what was I thinking? I mean,
you didn't need to buy it. It was good for free, or what?
no,
thinking
you
not?
absolutely
Yeah.
needed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
what was I thinking not doing it?
I do Apple Music, so I'm on that
Mm.
side of the train tracks, and I enjoy it a lot too. So-
Okay, so...
And we are also on the Apple Podcasts too,
oh, that's right.
and we are on Google Podcasts too. So
What all are we
through
on?
Podbean, we're on Google, iHeartRadio and Apple iTunes or whatever podcast, and there might be some other ones through Podbean. You can also find us on Podbean too. So
That's like an actual place.
that's the server where we.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's weird about podcasts, and I'm just like an infant learning about this because this is all new to me. But what's cool and weird is that, like, okay, when you make a song, you send it to your distro or Spotify, iTunes, whatever, and they have your MP3 in their database, and they play it. But for podcasts, they're so much longer that they can't store all that information. So then you have a different server, and then they just post the link to the server to your show.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't. What's cool about that, though, what I like about it is that you don't have to keep updating. Like Apple Music or iTunes has the link to our show on Podbean. And every time we put a new episode in there, it just adds it to that.
Oh,
same
so it's like our
link.
channel.
So you don't have to keep updating all that stuff.
You're
You just
uploading.
update
You're uploading a single file to like
to
your
one
station
server.
or your.
Yeah. And
your
what I'm
bean,
doing is I'm doing
Podbean.
YouTube separately because it can handle a way higher resolution. And so I'm going straight to YouTube for the higher resolution, and I'm
And then
not using Podbean for YouTube. Which
So you
but
upload
could.
twice?
Yes, and then I upload a lower res version to Podbean, and it goes to the other places.
And then where are you sharing links? Like where are you sharing when we post it to YouTube?
Mostly like Facebook, Twitter. Not a whole lot with Instagram, but I need to get better at that stuff too. And we can talk about that too because we've been discussing sidebar. We've been discussing getting some help with admin stuff for both of our businesses.
Truth.
And in fact, if there are people out there who have really amazing admin skills and want to be involved in the music industry,
DM us.
yeah, message us, because we are actually considering
Not joking
someone,
right now.
and we're not talking about someone who, we're not necessarily talking about someone who's an artist. We're more talking about somebody who wants to get into the business
Very admin,
side of it.
very businessy, organized, secretary.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. So that's a thing.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some guests we're gonna have.
Absolutely.
Soon, too.
Very soon, we have James Capless coming in.
And what's he known for?
He's known for founding the Vera Project, which is pretty much one of the only all ages places to see shows.
I remember when
in
that place
Seattle.
went up. Yeah.
And it's still thriving and really awesome. And he's the founder of that. And he also worked for the mayor's office of film and music, and was pretty, in my opinion, did a ton of great things for our city during that time. And
one sad thing real quick, I noticed the other day, I was at the Bellevue Square, or the Bellevue Square Park. Is it called Bellevue Park?
Mm-hmm.
And Bellevue Park, and Ground Zero wasn't there.
Oh.
And Ado goes, Ground Zero is at Ground Zero. I'm like, oh man, come on, dude. It's too soon. But it wasn't there. I think there was a fenced off area where it used to be, maybe.
The
And it's
all
just-
ages place, Ground Zero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
We used
Chris-
to play there all the time.
Yeah, I played there all the time. So Chris, I don't know if Kate Becker was, she'd be great to get on the show.
She would be.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Um,
We go way back.
yeah.
But Kate Becker was big influence at the Redmond Firehouse
Absolutely.
and the Vera Project.
Mhm.
And Chris, I can't remember Chris's last name. Do you know Chris at Ground Zero? Then he took over
Yeah.
at Redmond after Kate.
Cool.
And time has gone by so fast. But yes, I don't know what I would have done without those venues coming up.
Well,
Like,
to get
it
back
was
to
so
James,
crucial.
our guest,
Yes.
it's so important. All ages venues are so important for
And
young
are they out there
artists.
anymore? Or is it just the Bear Project?
It's
Is that
still a very tough town for Seattle because, for all ages, because really, and I can get to the next guest. So hang on, because our next guest after that is going to be Laura Lavey.
it? Laura.
And she said something about the all ages thing because my son is trying to put together an all ages show. And she's like, hey, venues make their money off alcohol. So if you have an all ages show, it's harder to convince the venues to do that because that's not where they're going to make their money. And it really is about the dollar bill. So it's a tough climb with that. But back to James, he also,
Yeah.
I think he has a TED Talk, and he's working on some kind of campaign. We're going to ask him about this, and because I'm deliberately not researching this because I want to ask him about it and have him, relay this. But he's working on something that has to do with having Seattle be a sustainable city for artists to thrive.
That's so
in.
cool.
And
Is that something I'll ask him when he's here, but is that something that's on the docket to like try to get some sort of funding to help offset costs for situations where they can't sell alcohol?
I'm not sure. I mean, that would be an amazing thing. We should ask him
Totally,
specifically
like,
that.
yeah,
Because that would be one of the best ways
so
to
important,
use
like,
funding.
Like, what do you want to? I mean,
You have to have all ages shows. You have to.
You have to. I mean,
That's how.
what
you,
are
that's how
what
you
are
build
kids gonna do
audiences.
then if they're not busy?
Yeah, and that's how you build audiences, and that's also how you build your career as a musician.
Yeah, you
Starting
need
young
those
helps.
years. You can't wait till you're 18 to start or 21. It's ridiculous.
It's hard. So
I'm glad he's coming on. I'm gonna learn a lot.
So he's awesome, and then
He's
back
coming
to-
in studio, right?
He's coming in, yeah.
Yes.
And then Laura Lavey is going to come in, and she's an entertainment
It's gonna
attorney.
be so fun. I can't wait.
And she is also an artist who has won 2 Grammys and is just
Oh, only 2?
yeah. And oh man, I'm not even going to get into some of the other things because I've got some other really amazing surprise elements that she has that we can get to when it's when it's time.
Dude.
So anyway, yeah, there's a couple other big surprises with her that I'm excited to share, but I'm going to hold off until we actually are doing the episode with her because it's going to be really fun. And I look forward to having her spark it.
And then we've got my really, really long time, really good friend, mentor.
Who I've also known a long
Yeah,
time.
you've known him. I'm sure you've worked with him a lot.
Really
right?
long,
The
yeah.
projects that you've been on, I'm sure he was working on a lot. Justin Armstrong.
Yep.
He's not Neil's grandson or anything, but
He is Dave Matthews' engineer.
Dave Matthews, engineer and
some
producer.
producer,
He
bass
produced
player,
at
other
Electric
things.
Kitty. He produced for 2 months vocals
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
who was that? John someone from LA, not Goodmanson. But, okay, so he was engineering.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, see, Dave brought up a different
do
producer.
producer stuff.
Yeah.
He does also, and
Yeah.
and the pre-pro and a lot of things. Which,
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna ask him about all that stuff.
Yes, we'll
and
get
that's
some
also
clip,
not his only credit. So another thing that he does is he lives in New Orleans area, and he runs the sound for the Preservation Hall Jazz venue, which is like legendary. Maybe the best venue in the whole country. I don't know.
Yeah, I was
It's
just on the
amazing.
phone with him the other day, like maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and he says, "Oh, I'm coming up to Seattle at the end of the month." Well, I was talking to him, and he's just like, "Dude, the musicianship down here is like off the charts, amazing."
Wow.
And he's just like, "I can't believe it. It's just like the bar is so high here." He's like, "This is definitely the last music haven on the planet."
Wow.
Like, definitely.
Wow.
Like,
It's
even
it's
above
so inspiring.
other places, that you'd say no way. And he goes, well, I said, we'd love to have you on the show. And he's like, that would be awesome. He goes, I'm coming up the end of the month to hang out with Dave Matthews for 3 days because Dave has his big show at the Gorge. I guess this coming weekend. So he's going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then he's going to be hanging out Monday, and he'll be in studio Tuesday
Yeah.
next week.
I'm so excited.
Is that right? Am I
It's-
getting the dates right?
it's coming
Yeah,
up.
it's 25th already. Wow.
So we have 3 guests coming that are all awesome, and I have a pretty big mental list of like several more people who have talked to me about wanting to be in on stuff as far as guesting.
Yeah,
and
me
so
too.
It's
Like
pretty
the list
exciting.
is,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to keep up, which is perfect.
It's great.
We'll just keep going.
We're gonna
going
get
and growing.
everybody. We're gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
everybody in. I
Yeah.
want to have I want to have my friend Rachel from the Musicians Union come through.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll probably be one of the things we do sooner.
I've hit up a couple of people like Alex Pacy Bay. He sings in a band named Osacea, and they're really good, really, really good. And he is, a full-time artist, and so I want him to talk about how he balances life. He's a dad too, and how he balances life and figures out money and touring and recording and what he does to supplement. Because remember we talked about diversifying.
Yep.
And he's going to talk about that. Another friend of mine, Delrick, I would love to have him. I had a call with him about 4 weeks ago, and I encouraged him. I was like, dude, based on what you're telling me, it sounds like you might be ready to go switch full time. He put his 2 weeks in 2 days later.
Wow.
After thinking about it.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's so cool.
Takes a lot of guts to do that.
And guess what?
Is he doing it?
He came by a week ago. He came by the studio, and he's like, my September's booked.
Wow. That's so great.
Before he even quit his job.
That's so
Because I
great.
told him, I'm like, hey, man, if you don't have your job, that wasn't paying him like anything.
Yeah.
That he thought was his anchor, but never took stock to stop and go, wait a second, is this helping me or holding me back?
Yeah.
In his situation, it was holding him back because it was 8 hours.
Sometimes
and
an
only paid a
anchor
little
is
bit.
bad.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
an anchor is good. And
Could be
sometimes
pulling
an
you
anchor is
down,
bad.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and so
Depends on where you're going.
he
or
was
what.
working 16-hour days pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need my life back. And I'm like, dude, you realize that if you didn't have that job, you could be recording during the day.
Oh wow.
Fresh, probably get stuff done a bit quicker because you're not just, tanked all the time. And I go, you could just book these few days. And he's like, oh my gosh.
That's
And
so
he,
cool.
he took stock. He goes, I'm going to think about this for a couple of days. He hit me up a few days later and he's like, put my 2 weeks in. It's like, that's so cool.
That's amazing.
So he made that decision, and that's so cool. So I'd love to have him on and talk about that transition, and have a few other people like that who also are really amazing musicians, but they're afraid. They don't see how they could do it full time,
Right.
but they think about it a lot. And I want to get there. Where are they at? I want us to like get a good sample size of all these different skill levels or networks and reaches and ages, and like how they're juggling everything in life, and see what their outlooks are, and we can kind of talk about stuff. And you see what I'm saying?
It's pretty cool.
These are really cool. So Phil, I have a burning question for you.
Okay. What?
A burning question, Bertie. However did you acquire these sponsors you speak of?
Well, what I did is I reached out to people within my reach, in my neighborhood, and people that I actually know who have businesses that I am a patron of too. Businesses that I believe in, but also people that believe in me. Kind of more as a person, people within my sphere of influence.
Nice.
And then they believe in me and what I'm doing, and they see that I'm doing this full-time artist thing.
Right.
And so the proof is in the pudding. So then when I told them, hey, I'm doing this podcast, Artists for Profit, and we're looking for sponsors, and we just need, some support so we can keep making this. And we also want, because we are a for-profit thing, we have no problem with advertising for businesses. We want to support businesses and have them make money. And so we have
So we can keep making content to help you, which helps us, which helps them. It's like a thing.
exactly
We're
and
jumping in and participating in the economy.
exactly. And one of the sponsors is the Easy Monkey Tap House.
Easy Monkey. Is that the place we ate together that one
That's
night?
the place we ate together.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
dude! Their food
I eat
is
there all the time.
so good.
And their service, and
It's
they have music.
Kind of impossible. I went to order. Talk about service. I went to order my thing, and Phil was telling me like, okay, this is a good. He goes, here's the problem. Everything's amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you
it's kinda
order?
hard.
And he goes, you can't get a wrong order. And he goes, those nachos, what were they? The barbecue something?
Pork nachos. Oh,
Pork nachos. And the waiter came over, remember?
the manager.
And he
yeah.
goes, I already put it in. I'm like,
He already put in the order.
I hadn't
10
I
minutes
hadn't
before
decided
he made up his mind, and he was
yet.
like, no, he's getting the nachos.
He
Like,
knew what I
knew.
was going to get.
He knew. They're wizards.
He said, I already put it in.
The
So-
other thing is that they have great live music
do have
there.
live
And so
music.
I like to go there because it's laid back about the live music. It's not like super formal. Like it's sometimes it grabs your attention, and sometimes we'll talk. It has that nice community feeling, even though so if you're going to see
But
a
it's
show,
cranking. There's
you can
volume.
treat it as a show, you can
There's some
dance,
power.
but if you're going to sit back and have a conversation, you can do that too. So it's
Right.
kind of like on that cusp that feels good actually as a community place.
Dude, that food.
And the food.
Oh, man.
So the Easy Monkey Tap House is in North City in Shoreline on 15th Northeast, just north of Seattle. Speaking of food, we now have another sponsor, which is called Chop Shop, and they are a food truck, and they make the chopped cheese sandwiches like East Coast style. We don't have them out here. It's like a Philly cheesesteak, only I think it's a New York, New Jersey, Brooklyn or something, but it's basically like an amazing chopped up gourmet cheeseburger with all the cheese melted in it throughout the meat. Anyway, we're going to be eating them on a future episode because we're going to get some, but they're now sponsoring us too.
Yeah,
So-
Tori's asking if she
Yeah, we're going to bring the foods. Yes.
Oh, we'll
So,
bring
yeah,
the
we will
food.
bring. They will, yeah.
The food has already been brought.
They're home of the banana pudding and also the chopped cheese sandwich. So amazing. And they are a food truck mostly located around North Seattle, but they are
move.
mobile.
Okay.
So they could go.
Do they hit up like downtown Seattle during events?
They're
and stuff?
going to do some things. In fact, they're going to show up for my sister's orchestra, the North Corner Chamber Orchestra. They're going to show up to all of her orchestra concerts this coming season.
That's so cool.
And serve food. It's really cool. And this is part of, okay, so there you go. It's like this thing where this is our sphere of influence. And we met, we know this guy that's making a food truck, Marco, the owner of it, is awesome. He's also a singer, and he plays a lot of open mics and performs around town, and particularly North City, which is how I know him. So it's all this sphere of influence thing. And we're
so
just
cool.
teaming up and supporting each other's dreams and businesses, and we're just moving forward with this
perfect.
kind of an approach.
I mean, it's already working. I want to go try these places.
Right.
I mean, I've tried
Exactly.
the Easy Monkey, but now I want this Chop Shop, which they're the
Yeah.
ones that are gonna.
Yeah, I think
Send-
we're going to get some food from
Ooh,
them
there you
on
go.
a future
So
episode.
are they? Do you know? Are they a fleet or is this one truck?
There's just one. They're just getting started. In
they
fact,
wanna fleet it up.
They're really like almost in business now. I mean, this might come out before. So this is almost like just going to create more hype for their chopped
There you go.
cheese sandwich because it's so good. And as you can see, it's these people in my sphere of influence that are supporting what we want to do. And then you're going to talk to some people in your sphere of influence and get some sponsors too,
Truth. Yep.
So
So I'm excited for all that's to come. I mean, seriously, we conceived this thing. I mean, we've been talking about the idea of what Artists for Profit is all about and what it represents for 5 years. But we kind of just got to a boiling point a couple months ago. It's what the Facebook page says, June 25th, 2019, it was created. So Phil's like, well, here I go. We're going to start this thing.
Yeah.
I call him immediately. I'm like, dude, yes, it's time. Let's do this. And I go podcast, and he's like, oh,
I
you're
was
right.
already
Let's
wanting
do
to
this.
do a podcast. I just didn't know. I had a few ideas of what kind of a podcast I could do.
Yeah.
And because I really love the format. But I didn't really know what it should be about. And then as soon as the Facebook page became a thing, then and then you were like, well, this is a podcast. And I'm like, okay, well, that's so obvious. Like, cause I already was on that trajectory to doing a podcast, and this is the perfect subject. So I'm pretty excited about this still.
So within 2 months, things are ramping up. It's crazy. And I'm seeing where this is going. It's out of not out of control, out of our control. Like the
gonna
snowball
grow.
is it's getting up to the top of the mountain already. And that's just insane to think about. So I'm really excited to see what is going to happen when that ball is rolling down the hill. Like we don't even know yet. It's really cool.
It's really exciting.
We're just getting going. So I'm like super excited.
Yeah. So and thanks to everybody who has watched. I mean, it may not look like we have crazy numbers right now, but they're all real numbers. You know what I mean? Like these are all real people who are actually watching and subscribing and doing it and want to.
Yeah, we're seeing people in the
part
group
of
are like, "Oh, did you invite them?" We're like, "No, who's that?"
Yeah.
So
we're
it's
starting to get
organically
people.
happening now,
Yep.
which is cool. And we were just barely off the ground, so it's really cool. It's going to be cool having sponsors, and we have video crew
Yes.
being built,
Thank
which
you,
is
Tori.
amazing. Tori. Tori, do you have a production company name at this point in time?
Well, get me it. Once
She
you
does
do,
not,
once
and we're going to
you
make
do-
this happen.
So at least give me your info, and we'll at least put it in the description on the stuff. You know, you have a website or what? Do you have like an Instagram that is around your visual? Like, what's the center of your visual career?
Lexus. The church and Lexus. Yeah.
All my stuff right now is the church and a couple other like random videos that I've done. So I haven't really done much.
She's been wanting to get into
Yeah.
this.
Oh, so this is the thing that you will link to for now. That is showing
This is
your
her
work.
resume.
Fine.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
Love it.
this
Good.
is so she's been wanting to like make this a thing since when you were still in school, right? And is probably thinking to herself, how do I do it?
Cool.
So great. She's helping us realize our vision
Beauty.
to learn how to realize hers. This is
so
exactly
great.
why we're doing this show.
Yep. That is so cool.
Toto.
Yep.
This
if you
is so
build it,
badass.
yeah. If
That's
you
so
build it,
cool.
I'm really excited. Dude. Cheers.
Toto.
We'll put in some other music or something for the ending. I think
Yeah.
We'll just cut in. Yeah. Monetize. Monetize. Look success right in the eyes and monetize.
I'm hearing like a Mario Kart thing, you know?
Monetize. You won't believe your eyes.
Once you
Monetize.
bow.